Live on the Vegas Stats and Information Network, SiriusXM Channel 204, and vsin.com.
Here at the South Point, Michael Gaughan's Hotel and Casino, the tip of the Strip, and the vsin studio right alongside the sportsbook down here. And we just got this message, Vinny, from one of our vsin Fans of the Year finalists, okay, Gary Kane in Brooklyn. Hey, Brent, cashing tickets is what it's all about. Check me out, Amal. This was made August 1st when Gary was here. $500 bet to win $3,200 on the Clemson Tigers to win the national championship.
Look at you making friends, Amal.
Well, I'm just glad somebody listens to me because I know Brent doesn't listen often.
Another happy.
Oh, that's wrong. I listen all the time.
Well done.
Do I agree? Never. Okay.
Fair enough.
Hey, shout out to my guys at the SO Club down in Clemson, South Carolina. As promised, I'm wearing your hat. I'll keep it on. Congratulations to the Tiger. They kicked Alabama's ass. And welcome in one of my SEC colleagues, Patty McManus. We both suffered together with that pick six. Patty, great to have you here, my friend. How you doing?
Thanks for having me, Brent. Brent, I came down and this unbelievable show, and I'm looking around for hair and makeup to help me out a little bit. Nothing there. Over that.
Well, because you're from Pittsburgh, you look a little like Terry Bradshaw. You know what I'm saying? We like to have that look here with us, Patty Mac. So were you in Ninja Warriors business? Is that what brought you into?
Yeah, a couple of meetings, and we shoot the finals for American Ninja Warrior here in Las Vegas. So
right, same place where I visited you last year.
And the show has been fantastic.
It's a great
every
show
year, and everyone tries to make the same show, and people just love the show, and it just gets bigger and bigger.
You've been showing it on Monday nights on NBC, and it's been winning the ratings. So how about some of those Circus Soleil acts? Can you weave them in and out of some of your Ninja Warrior?
I think they told us today at Cirque du Soleil that some of the performers there try out for American Ninja Warrior.
Oh, is that right?
I'm going to step out and make a little prediction. I would say that probably within 10 or so years, you'll see obstacle course racing in the Olympics. Think about the Olympics. You have fencing. Does anybody know anyone who fences? I don't.
All right. Good point.
But
I can get you on a stereo.
Yeah, everybody.
I got a cousin in the fence business.
But think of how many people do obstacle courses now. It's incredible.
Right.
And we have these athletes. We have a guy who can do 100 pull-ups. Imagine that.
I have to tell you, the Cirque athletes, and when I was at Wynn, we had LaRev. They are in unbelievable shape. These folks. I mean, they work out all the time, but their fitness is incredible. I have to. So that's a great point. Where in Las Vegas are the finals, Patty?
They're in that field that's adjacent to the airport.
Okay,
on the other side of Las Vegas Boulevard. And we were at Cirque du Soleil today, and seeing some of those athletes perform what they do. Mm-hmm. And there's a One Drop Foundation is having a big fundraiser here on March 8th at the O Theater. 125 Cirque du Soleil performers. It's going to be absolutely spectacular.
You mentioned that. I went to that one last year. It's a huge charity event. I mean, you should see some of the stuff that they have on auction there. It goes for $100,000, $200,000. It's amazing. But the performers are phenomenal. I've learned one thing as a single guy. Don't take a date there because these guys are all in better shape than you. It's unbelievable, man. I'm like, I'm done with this.
And for the Drop Foundation, Cirque du Soleil is donating all the time of all the performers, over 120 performers for this event, One Drop Foundation. And to watch them rehearse, with a string hanging out of their mouth, spinning around.
Guy Libertaire does a phenomenal job with that. It's just amazing what they're able to do. But to your point, and you've been around so many great athletes, I'll tell you, if you haven't had a chance, because you guys film a lot at the overnights, right? Because it's so
we shoot it
in the summertime right there by Mandalay Bay. If you're in town, there's a million things to do here, but I would suggest figure out a way, run into Patrick or somebody else involved. Get yourself there on the set. Very cool to go and see.
Yeah, I watched them tape one night. Yeah. I think it was a team event. It was fabulous watching the athletic ability of all these people. Now, Patty Mac, being from Pittsburgh, what's your read on what's gone on inside the locker room with the Pittsburgh Steelers? I know you've followed them closely through the years.
I don't know. That's a tough one. You got some amazing players, and Le'Veon Bell's situation, not playing all year. Then Antonio Brown not showing up for the last game, and Ben, sort of in the middle of it. with Mike Tomlin, deciding how to manage the team. It's anybody's guesses. I mean, you guys would know a lot more about that than I would, but it's unfortunate to see a team that's so strong offensively and defensively, 3 Pro Bowlers on the offensive line and not and they're out of the playoffs. A lot of bad losses. It's really
now, do you still play pickup hockey, lad? Or are you still
2 days a week? The Bedford Bears.
Wow,
we'll lay it on you.
Bears, huh?
Elbows and all, Brent.
Yeah,
You don't need the score.
I'm a crasher. I just go the net hard. I'm like Patrick Hornquist. So that's my kind of guy.
So give me a read on the Penguins.
Strong, a lot of times they struggle a little bit early in the year, but they poured on. They won what, a row, then they lost, but I think they're up 2-0 right now. And Sidney Crosby, just to watch him play, it's just incredible. Malkin's strong these days, and they have depth of 4 lines, and Justin Schultz will be coming back soon. They're strong defensemen. He broke his ankle earlier on in the year, and they're just a fun team to watch.
They've jumped out on the Panthers 2-0 at the end of the first period. Updated it. Pat Mac, I want to talk about the pressure on a director when we went to instant replay for when you guys are working a big football game, what you've got to do to help the process along. So stick right with us. We're coming back. Patty McManus, one of the all-time greats, man, in the director's chair. You can't believe the chatter that I've had with Patty Mac during events. VSIN.com, Sirius XM 204.
It's My Guys in the Desert with Brent Musburger, only on the Vegas Stats and Information Network. Keep up to date with everything in the world of sports gaming by going online at vsin.com. Now back to Sin City and My Guys in the Desert with the legend Brent Musburger, live on the Vegas Stats and Information Network, Sirius XM Channel 204, and vsin.com.
Patty Mac, I was just thinking, is there any of the major networks that you have not directed an event for?
No.
That's what I thought. Now, my man, Vinny Magliulo, my guy in the desert, asked, now, like during a game, let's just go to football. What's the director's responsibility? What does he do inside that truck that's outside the stadium?
The 2 main people that are responsible for what most people see at home are the producer and the director. The producer is responsible for the overall content of the show. That includes feeding the announcers graphics, letting you know what kind of replays are coming up, getting to commercial, making sure we get all the revenue in, any specialty graphics on quarterback stats and things like that. The director handles the cameras and basically draws out the logistic, the logical visual narrative. So Brent would be up in the booth with the analysts telling the story. My job is to follow them, to get the shots that they're talking about. I'm into shots that I might have, good reaction shots and things like that, but I would pick all the cameras. Those cameras are recorded to tape machines. The producer with the replay producer picks the best angles and puts those on the air, and then I'm the one who sort of sets up, what we do after a score, what we do before a score. So every picture that you see is put on the screen by a director.
I'm sorry, Brian.
Go ahead, man.
How many screens, how many pictures are you breaking
The games
down
are depending on how
time?
big the game is.
Right.
So the bigger the game, the more cameras you'll have.
So you're constantly telling
you
hit
make
this
a
scene.
decision every few seconds. So you'll do thousands of camera cuts per game. Now, when you say about the number of cameras, you'll notice, like if you watch last night's championship game, or you watch the NBC game this Saturday, which is the NBC's doing Colts
and Chiefs. Right.
Chiefs. They will. Typical game coverage, you have 3 cameras across the top. This is for just a simple show. A high end zone on the high right, a cart that drives along on both sides, a few low end zone cameras that are on the near hash, and some handhelds. That will get multiplied by 10, 20 more cameras as the bigger the game goes. So take, for example, the Sunday night game. They'll have cameras down the goal line, a camera down the end line, so that's 2 more cameras to add. They'll have cameras down each sideline in case there's a foot out of bounds. NBC will add a 4K camera, and so will ABC Monday Night Football, where they can take a camera in the end zone and blow it up. So if a foot steps on the boundary, they can blow it up with much more detail than they would on a typical camera.
So a game that's taking place on a Saturday, for example, when do you arrive into the city? Do you sit down with someone like Brent and the color commentator? You kind of go through some different things? Because I'm very fascinated because I've never known the technical aspect behind the scenes. It's really interesting.
Well, what we would do, Brent and I, we worked for years together. We'd always have a conference call Monday morning. And Brent would get on the call, and he'd know more than everybody else would. And you'd think he had 3 weeks to prepare. Tuesday, we do a lot of our own work. Wednesday, Thursday, we travel, go to the site. We go out to dinner, have a few bottles of wine sometimes. Then Friday morning.
Irish whiskey, too, my friend.
That's got to help.
Friday morning, we go to the trucks. The announcers typically go to meet the coaches right away with the producer and the director. They watch tape for a couple of hours. Then we'll meet with both coordinators of the team on Friday afternoon and the head coach. We go back to the truck, fact the cameras, everything works. And with the ESPN, who we work, we'll do feeds into Paul Feinbaum's show. We'll do a pop into Sports Center and College Game Day. We'll feed some features out. Then we have a production meeting, and we all have another bottle of wine. Then on game day, we're usually in 5.5 hours before kick. Brent will roll in a little bit later. We do a full fax. We go through every single element that's in the show. We look at every camera, every microphone, every piece of tape, every promo, every wipe, everything that we do that will be a function of what goes on the air. We will totally rehearse for the first 45 minutes to an hour that morning. Then we go to lunch, come back, rehearse with the guys upstairs, feed about 20 shots out to the different studio shows and the ESPN family, and kick off. And once we kick off, we're going.
Which is the sport that's the most challenging to produce and to direct?
The sports that I think I've had that you really have to have a command of, auto racing.
Absolutely.
Things
Auto
like the Indianapolis 500, things like that.
I would have never guessed that.
The dynamics of when the cars go, like some car races like Phoenix International Raceway, these guys go around the track in 19 seconds, and there's a camera cut every 2 seconds.
Brent, now I know why you tolerate me for 2 hours. That's a lot of work.
I will say this, when people come and visit a truck, and you get a lot more appreciation
Yeah.
for watching the game at home.
Fascinating.
When you sit in and you watch how the coordination between the producer and the announcers and the director and the camera, you go back, you cannot watch a football game the same way again.
I love that you differentiated between the two because I was not sure what that was.
There's, now, in recent years, so the addition of multiple sideline reporters and the responsibilities of those reporters, and as Brent mentioned, which is also quite fascinating, the replay element of things. That's got to that has to have added an entirely different dynamic.
Since the replay, it's put a bigger burden on us. When there's a review in college football, they look at it upstairs.
Right.
If it's a review in the NFL, they look at it on Park Avenue. They look at it in New York.
Are they looking at your angles?
They look at all of our pictures.
Your pictures, right?
So we're told, and most networks are told, give them every angle. Even if it's not the best angle, just show them every angle. Let them make the decision based on the video. And this is what people get confused about between play stands, as called, or is either overturned or confirmed. There's a big difference. People don't really know that. Means there's not enough visual evidence to change the call, so it has to stand. If there is enough video evidence to either confirm or overrule, then they'll say either confirm or overrule.
Brent, now
So people get that confused.
Interesting.
now I got to handicap which side the director's on.
Yeah. So some games, remember, some games will only have 6 or 8 cameras, and some games will have 22 cameras. But the games that have 22 cameras have the super slow-mo cameras and more robust hardware and software that you can blow those shots up. Like if you see these games that sometimes you see the guy diving in the end zone.
Yes.
Like last night, you'll see good angles because they had lots of
Breaking the plane of the goal.
Totally.
Right.
It's a big thing. And now some games, if it was a smaller game with 2 teams with 4 losses, you're not going to have 22 cameras on the game.
Patty Mac, how expensive is pylon cam?
Very. Because a pylon cam, each pylon has at least 3 cameras in it to look at the sideline, right?
Oh,
On the end,
wow.
down, and across. So you have to record all those channels. So you got 3 cameras on the one at the goal line, 3 at the other goal line, goal line, goal line. So you need at least 12 channels of video recording to play back those different angles.
no wonder
So
you
those
guys,
get expensive.
no wonder you guys are drinking so much wine. I got to tell you.
Cheap
Oh,
wine.
I love it.
It's a high pressure, man. You fly the airplane. What's up, Patty
It's a
Mac?
lot of fun. And what you do, we go into games, they tell the story, we follow it. When something happens, like if any touchdown near an end line, goal line, or sideline, then we're right to replays quickly. If it's an easy score, it's a home team score, we can relax, like a punt return, come wider, show some more, crowd shots, fan shots, and hero shots. But if it's all close, we get right to that replay immediately.
And Patty Mac's couple of strengths. He always listened to the announcers. Some directors don't. They go ahead on the Patty Mac and I've talked about. He always pays attention. But he knows the sport so well that when a controversy breaks out, he knows where to go with his cameras, where to direct them. He knows which sideline to take a shot of. It's not just a random coach over there. He's got a reason. And so I always appreciated that, my friend.
I've always said this. If we're going to do a game, whether it's Alabama or we going in have to know as much about that team as their biggest fans.
And he did. Patty, thank you, my friend. It's awesome. We've run out of time with My Guys in the Desert. We're going to have you back. He's the director of the Ninja Warriors, okay? It's a great show. So long, everybody.